This is the Tree of Life, Addendum. In this episode, we will be introducing momentum into our discussion of consensus shifts, with some concluding remarks. If you imagine you are watching one in-group and an out-group, the in-group defined relative to the observer as exhibiting common tension release or mirroring corresponding to phase flips in a digital structure, and the out-group defined by preferential expectation matching opposed to the observer. And this in-group and out-group is interacting, with each demonstrating synchronization within the group towards some competitive endeavor. Then it is possible to see that the momentum shifts between the in-group and out-group are mediated by infinite recursion, where we define those shifts as progress towards some competitive goal. Let me explain. Consensus shifts are mirrored by in-groups and out-groups through momentum shifts in the completion of some goal-oriented action. That is, momentum shifts between in-groups and out-groups reflect negation and sublimation in an observing sublimator, who acts as a medium for the transmission of momentum from one group to the other. In reverse substitution, in preference shifting, as we see a digital structure transform into another digital structure with distinct impulses, we assert that these digital structures, on either side of recursion, are linked to a particular in-group and out-group pairing. Synchronicity moves between an in-group and out-group during a consensus shift. In other words, sublimators, through infinite recursion, are the bridge through which momentum shifts between an in-group and out-group. This makes sense in light of our discussion of Fermat's principle and the principle of least action. If you imagine that reverse substitution events represent the flowing of consciousness through all vessels, and negation, at the conclusion of the reverse substitution event, represents a new medium through which that consciousness must flow. You can imagine that consciousness, just as light does, tests all the possible paths through that medium to find the path of least action. Thus, there is indeed a momentum transfer from light to a medium, in two forms: kinetic, that is, directly from the photon itself, or canonical, the spatial shift of the field rather than the single photon expectation value. That is, the canonical momentum is revealed as the transformation of one digital structure to another after recursion. But more can be said about the momentum transfer. Momentum transfers are opportunities for consensus shifts. They are opportunities for sublimation. They split one stream, describing a single digital structure, to two streams, one analog corresponding to the paths of infinite recursion, and a second digital corresponding to the resulting digital structure. What distinguishes a momentum transfer causing a consensus shift from one that does not? The type of momentum transferred. Infinite recursion is only one possible outcome of negation. Thus, not every negated impulse produces canonical shifts in the field rather than a single photon expectation value. It is only in cases such as preference shifting that we see infinite recursion and a canonical momentum shift resulting from negation at the conclusion of reverse substitution. That's the end of the podcast for today.